Hi, everybody. It's Rebecca here, Network Provence. We're doing Meet the Members, and I'm excited today to introduce you, if you don't already know her, Alejandra. But
Hi.
Alejandra, you're not in Provence at the moment. You're in
No.
New Mexico, but normally you are living over here permanently.
Yeah.
So tell us, what normally are you doing? Well, why did you come to Provence?
Hi everybody. I came to Provence for basically it's just a change. Was ready to uh, have a new path to kind of walk on and kind of get out of the hustle and bustle of living in New York City. That's where I was originally living before I moved to Provence. And just to kind of have a little bit of a change in life and a slower pace of life on my everyday life, and think of a new work path I wanted to kind of go on. And my husband and I ended up in Provence. We found a really nice home that we were able to move into and renovate and kind of start our new life there. And it's been definitely a journey, but I really appreciate where I live now, and it's definitely taken some time to get used to. As you were asking me earlier, from the East Village to the countryside of Provence, definitely a big change. But I absolutely love it, and I think it's a really beautiful place to be. Yeah.
And professionally, because we've been talking quite a lot before this interview.
Yes. Yeah.
I met you at the beginning. Was it at the beginning of this year? No, or last year? When did you first come to Network Provence? I think you came to Aix
I
and you came here to Merbec.
Yeah, I feel like it was in January, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it could have been December of the year before, of last year. I can't remember exactly, but it's been almost a year that I've been with Network Provence. And I was introduced by it from a friend of mine, Ambry, that's with Network Provence as well. And I went to one of the meetings in Aix, I believe, is my first encounter of it. And I was, like I was telling you before, it's just really helped me to kind of figure out where I wanted to be and what path I wanted to go on, just by hearing everybody's stories and, shedding a little light in my direction. And, I started two kind of businesses of, one is image consulting, and the other one is doing hair and makeup in the wedding industry. And I really, before this, I was, working in the fashion industry for many, many, many years. And I just was ready to kind of make a change from that. And I wanted to work with people. I realized that I wanted to work with people, women or men, and just have a better feeling at the end of the day, and feeling like I kind of helped someone or made someone feel good about themselves. And, by just maybe tweaking a little bit of their makeup application or what they're wearing, or making them feel beautiful on their wedding day, all those kind of things that I think, really make an impact for me. I'm not changing the world, but I just felt better after doing that service for someone, because a lot of us don't have that natural ability to maybe style our own hair, or know what exactly colors look good on us, whether it's clothes or makeup, and in terms of weddings, well, everybody, you're not going to do your own hair and makeup for the wedding, I mean, maybe you will, but there's some people that do need someone to do it for them and to make them feel really, amazing that on that special day. So yeah, I kind of turned everything on that path to this year, and really realized that I really, really, really appreciate doing that.
So you've met you met some connections through
Mm-hmm.
Network Provence.
Yeah.
And if you would tell us a little bit about that, that's quite fun to hear some
Yeah.
connection stories.
Yes. Well, I think the biggest connection was with Ilva Langenscheld, who is a makeup artist. And you had introduced me to her. You had told me to speak with her. And she was this tiny little thing in the corner in Mobec in your house that I was looking at. She's so tiny. And I was like, who's this tiny woman, you know? And so we talked, and then we got on the phone another day after a meeting, and we kind of just hit it off, and we decided, she had asked me if I wanted to do a few photo shoots right after confinement, because all this started, I met her right before COVID started at I don't know when the meeting was in your house. Maybe it was in the beginning of March. And throughout the first confinement, Elva and I had kept touch, and she had reached out to me to do some photo shoots with a few wedding planners this summer. And I mean, I had time, so everything was shut down and we weren't really doing anything. And I thought, okay, prior to this, I had started my image consulting business, which was going pretty well. I was really shocked about that. But I had a few clients that I was working with before confinement started. And then that kind of slowed down, which is okay. But the photo shoots kind of came up, and I said, oh, sure, why not give it a shot, you know? And I kind of just got my feet wet a little bit, and it was kind of being back in that creative world, and it was really nice. And I just also really loved working with Ilva, and meeting the people in that industry, which are so different from the fashion industry and where I was coming from, you know, my background of that, you know, and it was like a whole different thing. And it's just a lot more friendlier and warmer, and it was people were having a different purpose of what they were doing, you know. I felt, you know, and everybody really wanted to share, and I never really got that in all the years that I worked in the fashion industry. I never really felt that before. So, and I'm not also trying to put down the fashion industry at all, but it was something for me that I needed to change. And I realized that, wow, these people are so, you know, open in this wedding industry, and they're just nice, you know. And so it was really nice to kind of make those connections, and that kind of took off from there. Yeah.
And going back to what you were doing beforehand, when you were in New York, were you doing exactly that, hair, makeup, and it just in the fashion industry? That was more your, rather than weddings.
Yeah. I did do weddings, but they were private. It was private contracts outside of. I had an agent and all that before for many years, and so whenever I had weddings, it was more just a private thing that I would take on myself. But I was so busy with all my other work in fashion that I couldn't commit myself to a year later, you know, to say, hey, yes, I'll be available on, you know, June of next year. I just couldn't commit myself to that because I was so busy with my other work, and there were a lot of traveling and a lot of really big jobs, and so I never put myself full on into the wedding industry, and that's why I never really got into it. So, and then until I was here in France, and that I was able to kind of commit and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I can be available next year. I'm not doing fashion stuff like I did before. So yeah, so that was
I see.
big reason why.
I had a look at your website, which is a great website. I love the videos and everything on it. That makes it very, very real.
Yeah.
And a lot of the very high profile magazines that you've been involved with. And also you've got quite a lot of pictures of your work in the wedding industry there. So that shows your
right.
style.
Yeah. So a lot, I have two websites, so I'm assuming you're talking about the wedding website, and I do have a lot of covers of really big wedding magazines, and that was something that I actually did when I did work in the fashion industry. That a lot of these magazines would contact my agent for me to work with them on the covers and these stories that they would do. So I did do those sort of shoots when I was in the fashion industry, but it had nothing to do with actual weddings, real weddings. It was more just the advertising, I should say, you know, or if it was advertising for the bridal dressmaker company or things like that, you know. Yeah.
And when we get out of the situation that we're in at the moment, the creative mode, where do you see your business going to, say, next summer?
Well, I think, well, like we were talking earlier, I think that next summer is probably going to be the transition summer for work. And I don't know if it'll be very busy, but I definitely think that there will be some work. And for myself, I think that I've already got a few weddings booked, so for next year, and that I think will continue. I don't know how busy next year will be, but I definitely see myself going in that direction. And as far as my image consulting, you know, I will kind of take that little by little and see how that goes. I really enjoy working with women, and the image consulting is more like me coming to someone's house. It's a very like personal experience, and you know, working with them in their closet and their clothing, and also kind of putting together, you know, a hair and makeup style for them that fits their face. It's not necessarily for an outing, but whatever you want. Say if you say, you know, if I go out to dinner, I never really know what to do with my hair or my makeup, and I just want a look that I can do myself that's easy, and that's what I want to help people with. Or let's say you've got a pack for a trip and you have no idea what to put together, and you know, you're going to have dinners or this or that, or you know, just to kind of help people with that and get things along, kind of like a closet clean out, you know, organize things and what looks good and what doesn't look good, or what you're missing in your closet and what you need to get, and not necessarily a shopping spree, but just some staples, some important staples in your closet. And the same thing with your makeup. Maybe you're using the wrong color, you know, and you need something completely opposite of what you've been using all these years, you know, and you'll see a change, you know. And so I'm hoping that will still kind of, you know, progress next year, but we'll see, because it is definitely a more personal experience, and I'm coming into people's homes, and it depends on how everyone's feeling at the moment with, you know, COVID and whatnot, for to have that kind of a experience with someone in their house.
That sounds, actually, that's just the question I was going to say. Tell us a bit more about the image consulting. So that's been really, really interesting. So,
yeah.
Well, I hope that we will all be let out at the right time, and that we can all get back to business. So that sounds really exciting, and people can connect with you. We can put that in this interview in the comments below, both your websites, and if they want to learn more about the wedding side of your business, or indeed the image consulting, those will be fantastic things to get in touch with you about. So thank you so much, Alejandra.
Oh, thank
This has been really nice to speak to you, and we're looking forward to seeing you again in the future.
Thank you.